Hello, welcome to another writing skill video. Today we're looking at commas, in particular how to use commas in a series. In other words, how to properly punctuate any kind of list within your sentence. So first of all, when do you need commas in a series? You would need it anytime you have three or more elements, and that could be any series. It could be a listing of nouns, adjectives, verbs, or even full phrases. They can be quite complicated phrases that need commas around them, okay? And you would want one after each element except the last one, okay? So every element has a comma after it except that last one. Now there is one exception to that, and that is Associated Press style. So in AP style, they drop the last comma, so the comma after the second to last element is dropped, and that's only AP style. So for our purposes, we always use what's called the Oxford comma. That refers to the fact that the Oxford Style Manual was one of the first to require it. So every other style manual uses the serial comma or Oxford comma. Associated Press doesn't, so you will see it quite often with that last comma dropped, especially in magazine articles, in internet articles, newspaper articles, because they're all using Associated Press. So unless you're in a journalism class, for your academic papers, plan on using that serial comma. Okay, so APA style, for example, don't confuse AP and APA. APA style uses the Oxford comma. MLA does, Chicago style does, every other style does, except for Associated Press. But just be aware you're going to see it wrong in many of the articles you read because of that Associated Press difference. Okay, so let's look at some examples of commas used in a series, used properly according to most of the style manuals. So I sold brownies, comma, cookies, comma, pie slices, comma, and bread at the bake sale. So notice after every element except the last one, and you would want it included before the conjunction. That's what's dropped in the APA style. But for your purposes, get in the habit of using it, because most of your academic papers will require that, okay? And here's another example. My favorite Beatles albums are Rubber Soul, comma, Revolver, comma, and Sgt. Pepper's. So again, around every element except the last one. And here's an example of use with adjectives. This varies a little bit because you don't have the and usually in there. Occasionally you can, but you also have an issue of certain kinds of modifiers working a little bit differently. So in this case, she wore a beautiful, comma, green silk dress. You don't put it between green and silk, even though silk is modifying the noun dress, because silk dress is a unit. Okay, so it's the whole unit is being modified by beautiful and green. The silk dress was beautiful and green. That's one way to test it. So if you have a list of those adjectives that are describing either a single noun or that unit kind of noun, the silk dress, or it could be little boy, something like that, then you put a comma in between. So that's one's a little bit trickier because you do have to decide what the actual descriptors are in the list, okay? So, but you can also have it for verbs. Here's an example of use with verbs. The toddler bit, kicked, screamed, and cried until he got his way, okay? So, just works the same way as nouns or anything else, where you have the comma after each element, okay? So you can use it with verbs, and you can also use it with more sophisticated phrases. Okay, so here's an example of that. To graduate in 4 years, students must take 5 courses per semester, comma, pass a writing exam in their 3rd year, comma, and submit a a completed graduation application before the start of their last semester. So quite complicated phrases, but each element still needs that comma in between. Okay, just the same as the more simple series. Okay, so I hope that helps you figure out when to use them and how to use them in a series. If you need more help with commas in general, you can check out the Yavapai College Writer's Guide. Section 9, Chapter 43 has much more detail for you to look at. Also, if it's confusing for you generally working with commas, I recommend visiting a tutor at the YC Learning Center. Just direct them toward what you need, what kind of help you need with commas. And you can also, of course, contact your instructor either by email, or you can visit them during their office hours and try to iron out some of these problems. Okay? So thank you so much for watching this writing skill video, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.